Well, David Parker.
I just want to respond to the point that that Mr. Bailey made and the point that the prior speaker, I'm sorry, I've just memory loss, but Mr. Scott made in respect of controlling interests. I agree that the effect of clause 6 of the bill, which inserts subclause 5A to section 59, or will be new subsection 5, says that at the first level, if you've got a fund investment vehicle that's wholly owned by the guardians, then that in itself is allowed, despite the fact that it's a controlling interest in the fund investment vehicle. But then it says you look through that, and it doesn't allow the guardians to have a controlling interest in respect of the underlying investment that is made by the fund investment vehicle. I know that, I understand that. But the point that we're making on this side is that through these vehicles, you are getting closer to the point where you're going to turn the fund manager from a passive investor to an active investor. Might not have a controlling interest, but it's getting closer in these new vehicles that are being allowed to actually moving from being a passive investor to an active investor. And that was, across both sides of the House, why the amendment was proposed by Select Committee to reinforce that although we're going to allow these fund investment vehicles, we weren't going to encourage the guardians to move from a passive investment role to an active investment role. And so we said, therefore, that in respect of the power being exercised by the guardians, ministerial approval would be given or withheld in respect of some of those classes of investment. That was the reason. And so we're still waiting to have a contribution from the Minister as to whether the Minister thinks that that the Select Committee was wrong to say that this was actually moving along the continuum, allowing more active investment than has been the case to date. And that's a different issue from controlling interests. So we still haven't heard from members from the other side as to why it was wrong to actually have that greater level of control exercised in respect of investments that are not passive.
Members, we come to the vote on part 1. First, we have the Minister's amendments as set out on SOP number 89. And the question is that the amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that part 1 is amended stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party votes called for. Ask the clerk to conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
32 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
12 votes in favour.
Maori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Ag New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Members, the ayes are 75, the noes are 46. Part 1 as amended will stand part. We now move to part 2, and this is debate on clauses 10 to 14, and the question is that part 2 stand part. I call Grant Robertson.
So much competition, Mr Chair, for the call. Part 2 of the bill relates largely to amendments to the Income Tax Act that is consequential from the establishment of fund investment vehicles under section 59A. It is a relatively non-controversial part of the bill and one that the Labor Party